Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. So 61 attacks, Senator, on Americans. That's since October 7th. This comes after there were 80 previous attacks under the Biden administration. We have 3 attacks in return, 7 terrorists killed. The scoreboard seems to be in the favor of Iran here. Do we need a Soleimani Trump-style strike to get the Iranians to back down?
Well, Kayleigh, we have to have an effective kinetic response if we're going to be able to deter this. And bear in mind, we have lost that deterrence, and Biden has lost credibility on this issue. And when you start having people in the Pentagon going to Washington Post and other outlets and talking about the dissatisfaction, you know that the president has been given those other options. But we have to remember, much of this dissatisfaction with this administration and much of the distrust that some in the Pentagon have with the Biden administration goes back to the Afghanistan withdrawal. And after that debacle, we found out much later through hearings that the president had been given options, and what did he say? No, we're going to go forward. And then he goes out and he declares it a success, when people in the military knew this was not a success. So we have to reestablish that deterrence, and we have to have that effective kinetic response.
Right, it was an extraordinary success. And then we know we lost 13 beautiful heroes, Americans.
That's right.
There at the Abbey Gates. What a tragedy Afghanistan was. Everyone saw that. China saw that. Russia saw that.
Sure.
And Russia took action, and Iran took action. But this was a very revealing moment. This was in the Pentagon press briefing today. Watch what was asked and watch the response from the deputy press secretary.
Is the Pentagon waiting for a service member to be killed before taking stronger, more effective action?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we would never want to see that. We would never want that to be the outcome of any attack.
I mean, are you waiting on an American to be killed? That's a fair question. What are they waiting on, Senator Blackburn?
They have no strategy, and they're going to have a strategy. These attacks are not going to end until we come forward with a way and a strategy and send that message, we're not going to tolerate this. And one of the things that must be done is to handle Iran. And we have in the Senate voted to see that $6 billion frozen, but we need sanctions on that oil production. Iran could put a stop to this if they wanted to, but they don't. And bear in mind, they're the ones that are funding these militias, whether it's the Houthis or Hamas or Hezbollah or ISIS in Syria or Iraq, they are the funder. So they're keeping this up because they know that Biden is weak and that Biden is not going to come after them. They know it because he hasn't done it. So you have to stop these attacks before somebody does get killed. And when you're north of 60 attacks and they're not letting it up, when the Houthis have put people into a cargo ship, a Japanese-owned cargo ship, and taken control of that, you see the escalation that is there. And for this crew over in the White House to think that they can appease their way out of this situation and not have that kinetic response, they're just pipe dreaming. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. It's clearly not happening. There have been 6 attacks since their pinprick strike. You know, Senator Blackburn, you mentioned something there about voting to freeze the $6 billion. Okay, I spoke with Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz. He led a bipartisan effort in the House to freeze the $6 billion that Biden unleashed. Jared Moskowitz, in partnership with the Republican congressman, sent a letter to Tony Blinken saying, let's redesignate the Houthis who shot down our drone. Why is a Democratic congressman in the House, Democrats in the Senate, having to push the Democrat commander-in-chief? Why is this happening?
It is because this administration has people that are friendly to Iran in that administration. I've been on the floor of the Senate talking about Ariane Tabatabu, who is there in the DOD. She has a top secret security clearance. She is chief of staff to one of the assistant secretaries there in DOD. And Kaylee, when you have people with that kind of security clearance that are pro-Iran, that have been a part of the Iran Expert Initiative, Robert Malley was another one who was in this administration, very pro-Iran. And you look at the participation of others in this administration, in the first Iran deal, in this latest Iran deal, and now they're going to free up another $10 billion for Iran. Iran does two things when they get a dollar. They enrich uranium just short of where it needs to be for a nuclear weapon. And secondly, they put it into terrorism. We know they put $100 million into Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, each individually. We know that they're funding these other militias. We know that they are their proxies, and they're carrying out these attacks. And everyone is aware of what is happening. Iran, Hamas, they all say death to America, death to Israel. It is a part of what they're doing. It's why we go fight this every day. It is why we stand with Israel. We have to stand with Israel, and we have to have an administration that will show the world that we will not be deterred in our support of Israel.
Yeah, it's fantasy foreign policy, and it's leading to a lot of American death and carnage. Such a tragedy. Senator Blackburn, thank you very much. Straight ahead, American consumers are getting punished by inflation just in time for the holidays. Thank you, Joe Biden, who does not seem to think all is well. He's selling you on a lie. We'll break it all down as this special edition of Hannity continues.